The meanest versus nicest celebrities. I am very curious about this. So let's get started. It should be good.
Highlighted as being incredibly kind. Take for example the time
I've heard that too.
A table at IHOP after the server failed to realize it was Adam Sandler asking. Embarrassed, the server shared the CCTV to TikTok, prompting Adam Sandler to meet with the waitress personally, while joking about the rejection by stating, "For the record, I only left the IHOP because the nice woman told me the all-you-can-eat deal didn't apply to the milkshakes," although fans were impressed for a slightly different reason. It's very humble of him to not assert
he had a mask on, so can't blame her.
He acted just like a regular customer and didn't challenge anyone. I respect him for that. With his humble attitude extending to wedding photo bombs, and that time he ran.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
Hi guys. No way. No way, you're joking.
He filmed a good chunk of Mr. Deeds in my hometown, and he was simply the nicest man ever. He would come out to sign autographs after a full 14+ hour day of shooting. Didn't matter how long the line was,
so
he made
nice.
sure every single person got to say hello. He had time for photographs and chats with everyone in town, frequented all the local coffee shops and posed with employees. He seemed to really care and know how excited we all were to have a movie happening, and always had a smile, although Adam's fans aren't the only people to talk very highly of him.
You guys love each other. Is that fair to say?
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I hear each of you individually talking about the other in such fond terminology.
Yeah.
After Pete Davidson worked with Adam
That's
Sandler
nice.
on Saturday Night Live, Pete went on to state he's just such a cool, nice guy. I can't explain how wonderful of a person he is. Just like caring and sweet and not full of crap, which is very rare to find. But while Adam Sandler's
for
happy
celebrities,
on-screen
yes,
mood
it's hard.
clearly extends to his personal life, Mike Myers from Austin Powers is apparently much different when the cameras aren't rolling. Twitter
Really?
exposed Mike Myers as an absolute nightmare to work with. The article referred to a tweet reading, "Mike Myers had me fired off the set of The Love Guru because I made eye contact with him and I was there as his bodyguard." The tweet had been posted by a person named Jay Brody, who then expanded on the incident in a podcast.
You'll be basically guarding Mike Myers' trailer. They're like, here's the catch. Can't look at him. But I realized, like, I can't let just anyone into the trailer. So I look up, I catch his eye for a second. I give him a nod to let him know I'm cool. And then I look away, and within an hour, I get a phone call letting me know that I'm fired. And
Wow.
Prompting others to give their own anecdotes about Mike Myers' terrible attitude.
I'll take a guess. I know that that's already on the screen, but like, I guess they just they have to be around so many people, and maybe it's just like, he just wants to be in his own bubble. I'm not saying it's an excuse, because it's kind of messed up to ruin somebody's job over that. Like, it's clearly internal. It's your own problem.
I was an extra in Love Guru and remember being told we can't make eye contact with Mike. When
Even
I
the
tell
extras.
people this, they don't believe me. Thanks for confirming. People always wonder why there weren't more Austin Powers movies, but never realize how many stories there are like this about him. Basically, no one wants to work with the guy with one.
Obviously, if like he's done that to one person, he's probably done it to multiple people.
Of these other
It's got to be a
stories coming
thing.
from the set of The Cat in the Hat, where Mike's co-star Amy Hill stated his area was all covered with tenting because he didn't want anybody seeing him. It was so weird, it was just the worst. I was
Why are you an actor then? That's like one of the few jobs where literally everyone's going to be staring at you constantly through a screen or just in person and just noticing you, like taking pictures of you, wanting pictures with you, autographs and things. That's the life. Why can't you do something else? All it makes me think is they just want the money.
Miserable. Hill also revealed how Diva Myers selfishly kept everyone waiting for hours, overruled the director, and even had someone standing by, just holding his personal chocolates in a dish. It was just a horrible, nightmarish experience.
That's what you get when you say yes to
only
someone
ever
too
said
much.
The opposite about Steve Buscemi. Buscemi worked as a New York firefighter before quitting to pursue acting, although when the Twin Towers were destroyed on September 11, Buscemi walked into his old fire department to volunteer, working 12 hours a day for a week straight in the hopes of finding survivors. He called his old firehouse, then receiving no reply, headed to the site, where he found his former engine company. I asked if I could join them, he said, adding I could tell they were a little suspicious at first, but I worked with them that day. It was a privilege to be able to do it. It was great to connect with the firehouse I used to work with, and with some of the guys I worked alongside. Note, this was in 2001 after he was already extremely famous from movies such as Fargo, yet according to an independent article on his volunteering, very few few photographs and no interviews exist because he declined them. He wasn't there for publicity. Wouldn't you think you were
Yeah, I had no idea.
Steve Buscemi helped you out of the rubble. What a great humble guy, with a Reddit comment then offering a slightly more personal story. I used to serve him all the time and he never once was a diva. Always had a smile on his face, and I mean, I don't even think he once had a complicated order. He always ordered the most simple thing on the menu and always tipped 20+%. Not to mention Buscemi gets extra credit for being close friends with Adam Sandler.
With Adam.
However, it seems Jerry Seinfeld was left out of the party, given every clip of him I've seen outside of his shows is just him being an unlikable douche with an ego the size of a small country.
Okay. Maybe there's a spectrum. I'm hoping. Excuse my voice. I know it's a little off because I do still have COVID. I'm still trying to get over it after a week, but yeah, I'm hoping because I mean, his character is kind of like that. So I'm hoping it's not too bad.
The sentiment began with a Larry King interview from 2007.
I went off the air. I was the #1 show on television, Larry.
You were.
Do you know who I am? 75 million viewers. Last episode.
What you don't think it's so bad?
Well, that's the big difference between being canceled and being #1.
Okay, I'm sorry. B-movie
Can we get a
opens.
resume in here for me?
B-movie opens
Larry can go
tomorrow.
over?
Although this attitude extends into other moments like the time he rejected Kesha.
I love you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Can I give you a hug?
No, thanks.
Please?
No, thanks.
A little one.
Listen now. Okay, now listen. I haven't. Okay, we're still watching the clip, but he is in the middle of an interview, like in front of cameras, giving an interview, speaking. I would be annoyed too, even though she seems really nice. It's not like, you know, she's being. I don't think she's meaning to be super rude, but it's like, maybe just wait till he's done, and then, you know, maybe he doesn't want to be touched. He seems like the type of person who wouldn't want to be touched. Is that just me? Like, I feel like he seems like that guy.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh.
That was a nice moment. I don't know who that was. Yeah, it was Kesha. Okay.
Jerry then offered no apology for rejecting her.
I don't hug
You were in the middle of an interview.
I have to meet someone, say hello. I need to know, who are you?
No,
and she was very nice about it. We laughed about it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you hug her?
Aw.
No.
Leading Kesha to change her mind about him for pretty obvious reasons.
What happened?
I disagree with this.
Jerry Seinfeld.
You need to admit.
God. Are you friends with him?
I am not.
Okay, we're good. It was like the saddest moment of my life.
Jerry also
I understand what she's saying because, yeah, obviously it's disappointing as a fan. Like, she's not looking, she's probably not even thinking about being a celebrity. She was just like, oh my God, it's him. But he was in the middle of doing this thing, and I don't know. I can see both sides.
has a reputation for destroying the paparazzi.
The worst place, like you bomb. I'm sure.
Sorry, Kesha, you seem sweet though.
Very weak question.
And after Lady Gaga was moved to his luxury basketball box for acting rudely at a
Paparazzi.
game, he had this to say.
This woman's a jerk. I hate her. I can't believe they put her in my box, which I paid for. This is what you give people the finger and you get upgraded? Is that the world we're living in now?
Hysterical. I love it.
Jerry Seinfeld's
Well-
meanness definitely has a charisma to it.
Again, like, he's just giving his opinion. It's not exactly, I mean, I don't know if she is, I don't see any problem with her so far, but I don't pay attention that much. So, but not everyone has to like each other.
However, if you're wanting a more humble
It's a little mean, but it's like,
we have to talk about
it's not that bad.
With entire compilations dedicated to him treating other people kindly, there are almost too many
Oh, thank
wholesome
God.
moments to choose from.
I'd heard this.
This is awesome.
He always seems so nice.
There was that time he went out of his way to greet a 21-year-old having his first beer, or that time he gave his $5,000 guitar
I've seen this
to
video.
a fan after a concert.
You want a guitar? Yes. It's like a $5,000 guitar, so you have to promise me. You gotta promise me that you're gonna take care of it. Okay?
Okay.
Post Malone treats paparazzi in the
Sorry.
opposite way to Jerry Seinfeld.
I do feel bad for these people, like, always having to be touched. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I'd handle it. I wouldn't be mad at the person, just like the situation, like, you know, random people always grabbing, touching. You got to be careful.
Seinfeld.
Boss, I want you to know that I really like your music.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That means a lot to me.
Can you say hello to Nicole?
Well, hi, Nicole. Love you guys.
And when this fan somehow made it past security, Post Malone hugs the guy and treats him respectfully before he's taken off the stage. In a different instance, Post Malone let a fan come on stage to play the guitar.
He didn't have to do that.
And it's therefore no surprise that fans have told anecdotal stories such as, someone in a similar thread said Post moved into his brother's street and went and introduced himself to all his new neighbors and invited them for a barbecue. Genuinely sounds like an awesome guy. I believe this 100%. He had a party at an Airbnb or something a few houses down from my group's Airbnb, and he legit went around the cul-de-sac himself inviting everyone to the party. He also spent the entire night moving between groups, chatting and generally being a phenomenal host and ensuring everyone had a blast. 10 out of 10.
Oh, that's
dude.
sweet. See, it does matter. Like, you think that if you're just rude to a fan, it's not a big deal, but like, people talk. You know, these people, these just, you know, normal everyday people start to talk and say their experiences with you, so you have to be careful.
While nobody has anything negative to say about Post Malone, it seems nobody has anything positive to say about
Now this
Chevy
one I'm not
Chase.
surprised about.
Remember when Pete Davidson praised Adam Sandler earlier in the video? Well, Pete had the opposite to say about Chevy Chase, stating, "He's a fucking douchebag. I hate that dude. He's just a genuinely bad racist person and I don't like him." Chevy Chase was fired from Community after calling Donald Glover the N-word, not to mention before the firing Chase was simply difficult to work with.
He was someone that did not want to be there for the hours that we were keeping. He sometimes could be in not great moods.
Earlier in his career, Chevy Chase had gotten into a fist fight with Bill Murray, and while interviewing Robert Downey Jr., Chase stated, "Didn't your father used to be a successful director? Whatever happened to him? Boy, he sure died, you know."
Listen, man, you go after Bill Murray, I already don't like you. That being said, obviously there's something I might not know, but still, for what I know so far, he seems really... like, leave him alone.
You know, he sure went to hell. It's therefore no surprise that even Will Ferrell stated, "The worst
okay, what did this say? The Iron Man star, didn't your father used to be a successful director? Whatever happened to him, boy, he sure died, you know, he went to hell."
Whatever happened to him? Boy, he sure died, you know, he sure went to hell. It's therefore no surprise that even Will Ferrell stated, "The worst host was Chevy Chase." Yet Chevy Chase foolishly claims that all criticism is just jealousy.
Did you just say that
well, here we go.
Anything negative is jealousy? Yeah, I did. What kind of jealousy? I'm funnier than them? Yeah, I guess maybe. I'm considered...
Yeah, I was about to say, let him keep talking. And you will see it come out. You don't even have to say anything.
Yeah, there you have it.
It seems Chevy Chase needs a lesson on humility, and who better to teach it than Shaquille O'Neal?
Funnier than Will Ferrell.
It's all about humility. And that's why I am where I am now. I humbled myself. I don't look down on people because they're less than
Back in 2011, Shaq had hit rock bottom. He'd retired from basketball, divorced from his wife, and had no idea where his life was going next.
I was lost. 76,000 square foot house by yourself. No kids. Go to the gym, nobody's playing in the gym. You go to their room, nobody's there.
It was during this period that Shaq's mom Lucille gave him some advice.
And then the queen, Dr. Lucille O'Neal, said, "Hey man, I don't know you no more. You need to humble yourself." And when mama talks, a true man listens.
After which Shaq began working on becoming a
Good for
better
him.
person. He'd state, "The day I killed the narcissist Shaq is the day my kids text me, 'Hey daddy, I miss you.' Bro, when I got one of those texts, man, I actually cried then. I didn't know what to say. After I got that love from them, I said, you know what, I'm not gonna be the asshole Shaq no more, because I was an asshole and I lost everything. The day I released all that me, Shaq is the day the blessings opened up. As a result, Shaq's been trying to create a fairly unique legacy.
Talk about legacy.
God, that would be hard.
One sentence. Shaq.
It's hard to be humble, like, you know, as an average person. Imagine having many millions of dollars and still being super humble. Like, that is so admirable to me.
Which has been aided by his random acts of kindness, purchasing bikes, shoes, and laptops for less fortunate children. It seems the only people Shaq won't give money to are his own kids.
Because I believe in respectable nepotism.
Another one of those.
This next semester you can get whatever you want. So he gets all A's, and I was like, go to the dealership and pick one. Then I get a call from Tesla. I said, man, you better take your ass across the street in a Honda.
But while Shaq is an obvious choice as a nice celebrity, someone you might not expect to be rude is Bill Nye the Scientist.
It's all these men. What's up with all these men?
science guy. I met Bill Nye as a kid and he was the biggest asshole I've ever met. It was a huge letdown after watching his show so often in class. My science teacher from 7th grade told us she had an explanation for why she tried to show us as few Bill Nye videos as possible. I believe she said she attended either a science workshop or an event for teachers where Bill Nye was there, and he was completely rude to her and dismissed her the whole time. Bill's dark side becomes pretty obvious when he debates other scientists.
I was about to say, maybe it's when he was young.
Meanest when talking to his most popular demographic, kids.
Oh,
Bill Nye
man.
came to visit my university. I was sorely disappointed. Bill Nye relied on sexist jokes to relate to the crowd. He kept complimenting women's legs and saying weird stuff about how sexy women are. He was trying to be relatable, but was sorely mistaken as he faced a crowd of driven female engineers and scientists. He went on about climate change and basically insinuated that we could be the policy changers while the real scientists did the real work. I couldn't believe how much my views of him were falling apart as I watched him pander to students he clearly didn't care about. I later heard that he wouldn't speak with students, only professors.
That's
with
weird.
This anecdote following the very common theme of Bill Nye was my hero until I heard him talk. Although thankfully Keanu Reeves is the perfect balance between
Thank you for taking me out of that negativity.
and evil. While filming the second two Matrix movies, Keanu Reeves chose to give up $75 million worth of his movie earnings, instead
I think I've heard
the
this.
special effects team who he said deserved it more. Even then, this might not have been his most charitable act whilst filming, as a Reddit user stated,
pretty
a
charitable
family friend
act.
builds movie sets, doesn't design, is one of the poor dudes that just builds. Anyways, he worked on the set for The Matrix, and Keanu heard about family trouble he was having and gave him a $20,000 Christmas bonus to help
Aw,
him
how
out,
sweet.
although money isn't the only thing that Keanu has given up. In 2011, he was candidly filmed giving up his seat on the New York subway, and 3 years later in 2014, he waited patiently for 20 minutes in the rain outside the wrap party of his own film Daughter of God after a mix-up because he didn't want to cause a scene. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm Keanu Reeves," or "Yo man, this is my party," once to the bouncer, and the owner of the club was horrified when he found out afterwards that the actor was standing in the rain. It's therefore no surprise that there's an extremely popular subreddit dedicated to Keanu Reeves being awesome, although if there's one person who could offset this kindness with meanness, it's definitely Ellen DeGeneres. Right now, we all need a little kindness, you know, like Ellen DeGeneres always talks about. She's also notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond to this with the most insane stories you've heard about
it's an
Ellen
image.
being mean, and I'll match everyone with $2 to LA Food Bank. This was the tweet that started
They were
her
making it as a
downfall,
charity
as
event?
Nobody could have expected how bad the responses would be. When I was 15,
Wait.
the Ellen Show was and I'll match every
How many comments and likes and stuff?
one of the meanest people alive. Respond
2,500 comments.
to this with the
Oh
most insane stories
my
you've heard
God.
about Ellen being mean, and I'll match everyone with $2 to LA Food Bank. This was the tweet that started
And they
her
tagged him.
downfall, as nobody could have expected how bad the responses would be. When I was 15, the Ellen Show was doing a contest of fans making a bust of her and sending it to her. I worked so hard on this and even wrote her a letter. Weeks later, she used it as a prop in a game and gave it away to a random person with $500 attached to the bottom. Working for her, I was instructed that
And
I
didn't
can't look her
respond
in
or
the
anything?
eye and never ever say hi to her first. But don't worry, she definitely won't
Again
be
with
saying
the
hi to you in
looking-
the first place. She creates the most toxic environment for her staff.
Again with the looking in the eye thing. What is that? What is that? I've heard that more than once and not just here.
Haley served her and Portia a brunch. She wrote a letter to the owner and complained about my chipped nail polish. Not that it was on her plate, but just that it was on my hand. I'd worked till closing the night before, and this was the next morning almost got me fired. Chris Pontius stated on Steve-O's
Seriously?
podcast that he wasn't surprised to hear these anecdotes.
It's crazy that all this stuff's come out, like, about Ellen being mean. Because when I met her, I thought she was really mean, like, and she's like, "So what do I gotta do?" And she's just pissed to be there. And then she comes out on stage and she's like, all like funny, nice Ellen, you know, like the person that they think she is.
And apparently neither were the 10 employees who came forward 4 months later to expose her terrible working environment.
Question, if anyone's, you know, knowledgeable, is does that equate to a sociopath or a psychopath? I remember watching the difference between the two. One of them is born the sociopath, or the psychopath is born the sociopath's maid. But But yeah, I feel like this equates to one of those.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar.
Maybe
That's what she is.
sociopath.
We were told from the very beginning, don't talk to Ellen, don't do this, you can't go into her office. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
As a result, Ellen took a 14-week hiatus, returning with a pretty standard apology.
Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that.
However, this failed to ensure a returning
But
audience.
how are you working on that? Like, these people always say that, and it's like, we just never hear about it again. Okay, show me. You record everything else.
As in May 2022, Ellen's show was cancelled completely.
Wow, y'all. Well, that was enlightening. Some of them made sense, some of them didn't. The Jerry Seinfeld one, I think, you know, being a little bit like uncomfortable, and just being straightforward, that to me is not a nightmare celebrity. That's just like a picky person. And he said that him and Kesha discussed it afterwards, which is fine. I mean, he was in an interview, but anyways, yeah, some of them are pretty bad, but they made sense. This Ellen thing does surprise me, though. It always does every time I hear about it, because it's like, wow, she really has this persona of like happiness and light and fun and dancing and good stuff. It's like, wow, it's all fake. I mean, you don't have to go that far. Like, why not just be like Jerry Seinfeld? Why do you have to go out of your way to pretend like you're this great, giving, loving human being? You don't have to do that. Plenty of people get famous without being like that, right? I'm just rambling. This is just my opinions, guys, but I will leave the link to this video in the description. Make sure to go check it out. Give it a like. This was a good video. Nice and juicy. But yeah, I will see y'all in the next one.